Do you have content that's worth reading? Are you back to the fundamentals of marketing? Are you helping to clarify to the lead when they're on your site that you're the best option? Because if you get longer engagement, Google will reward you. Hey, this is Christian Jones. I'm the CEO of Tax Pro Marketer, and I am overjoyed to be with you today. I'm going to have an hour slot here to talk to you about digital marketing. And I really wish I was in person with you guys in Dallas to be in the room and present this to you myself. You'll see why I'm not there in a minute, but I'll give you the hint that my wife and I just welcomed a new child into the world. And I've got 4 children under 5 right now. Not ideal for me to leave my wife for any extended period of time. So we're right in the middle of a newborn and 3 other small children. But I, of course, wanted to make some content, get something into this room and add value, add to the conversation to help you guys grow. Because that's a part of what you're at this event to do, is to figure out how to scale sustainably, right? Scale sustainably with good systems, good processes, good people, good salesmanship, but you need leads to do sales, right? And so that's what Tax Pro Marketer does. If you don't know us, we're a digital marketing agency that only serves the tax and accounting space, and we work with a number of tax resolution specialists or groups, CPAs, accountants, et cetera, that have tax resolution as one of their primary service offerings. So we've worked with people from that service sector of our industry for a long, long time. And a lot of them have come through the Tax Resolution Academy. So this was actually the Tax Resolution Academy in Orlando, probably 7 years ago, 8 years ago, was the first event I actually ever spoke at in this industry. So you guys have a special place in my heart. I'm really glad to be with you today. And I've got a little more than an hour, or about an hour, to get through a bunch of content. So I'm trying to open my slides here and get this rocking and rolling. Here we go. Okay. So how tax resolution firms can dominate Google. That's really what I want to hit first. Now, digital marketing is a lot more than Google, as you'll come to find. But if you're not getting leads to start, if you're not getting found online, I think that's where you've got to start. You've got to begin with the idea of, how do I get found by new people? Because everything else flows from there, right? This is the beginning of the process. And Google is still the best, biggest platform to get people's eyeballs from. And that goes for tax resolution, tax preparation, bookkeeping, accounting. It is still true that today you must address Google. It's the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Okay, a little about me before we get into the actual slides. Again, Christian Jones. If you haven't met me before, it's great to meet you. I hope to meet you in person someday soon. Feel free to grab a call with me when we're done to meet more. I want to get to know you and your business. But I've been the CEO of Tax Pro Marketer now for quite a while, in spring of 23, but I've been at Tax Pro Marketer for almost 9 years. So still 8 years and change, but almost 9 years. And I've developed a number of things at our company. Nate Hagerty, if you know him, was our founder, along with Troy Lakey. And they're still around, but I just took over after being here for a while. And part of that is the stuff I've innovated and piloted around Google and that I present and teach on. And so in 2023, I was named a 20 under 40 for CPA Practice Advisor. I was a top presenter for CPA Academy in 2023 as well. And in 2023, I guess we got it in 2024, but we just received our second time making the Inc. 5000 list under my watch. And so I've got a lot of experience in this space, in this industry. I'm leading a company now that's got a lot of history in our industry, which I'm honored to do. We've got an amazing team, amazing group of experts and professionals that I'm thrilled and privileged to lead. Here's a picture of my family before this newest baby. So I've got Hudson, Jane, and Elsa, and now we've got baby number 4. This is Wyatt. So we've got boy, girl, girl, boy. That's actually a picture of him when he's about a week old. He was already smiling, which was kind of insane. So I've got Hudson, Jane, Elsa, and now baby Wyatt at home, which I hope is the best reason I can give you as to why I'm not in the room right now. Thank you for your grace. I want to be there next time Dan does one of these events. I'll do my best. Okay, but let's get into the fundamentals of marketing. I've kind of already hit at this, but a lot of times when people try and pilot, build, design, execute on a marketing strategy, they do so without addressing all of the fundamentals, which, just let me be honest, makes sense because you got into business probably to do a variety of things. But one of those things is to be a specialist, to know how to handle people's tax situations with the IRS and get them squared away, back on their feet, and out of the place of fear that being under the IRS's microscope can lead to. But you need leads, right? You need leads. And so you throw up a website, you try some social media posts, and you sit there wondering why it's not working. Or maybe like some of you, you've tried ads and lost a lot of money. If you haven't, if you want to find a really fast way to lose money, I think there's a number of ways to do that. Sports betting, that could be one. Hit the casinos, that could be one. Try and run some advertising for yourself. That's another way to lose money really fast. Because if you don't know what you're doing, Google and Facebook and all of the platforms will gladly take your money from an advertising perspective without a care in the world to whether it works or not. And so a lot of people go to the media. That's of this three-legged stool, the bottom kind of part of this triangle. How? How am I going to get myself out there? I should have Facebook posts and a Facebook page. I should probably have a LinkedIn page. I should probably have a website. But what you don't address is the message or the market. Those other two components are commonly missed. People just go straight to the media. What media should I be on? What platform? What place? And there's more homework that you have to do before you build out, launch, and then maintain a healthy online marketing ecosystem. And this is a common thing. It's kind of the chicken or the egg. I've got a growing business, Christian. I've got a tax resolution firm. I've got leads, but I want to get marketing off my plate. I'm trying to scratch that itch by doing it myself, and it's not working. I hope this next hour helps piece some of the kind of puzzle pieces together for you. I think it will. But it begins with understanding who your target client is, what message they need to receive, and then the media platform that they visit. All of that takes research and time and digging in and trying to build an understanding before you just move. Before you just take action, you need to do some homework and build out this infrastructure of who we're really going after, what they care about, what pain they're feeling, and how they're going to find you, or you could say where they're going to find you. And this begins with who your ideal client is. And I think for a lot of you, there will be some similarities between who you're trying to target. I know that part of what Dan's going to do in this seminar with you guys is dig into that and help you figure out, kind of avatar building and how to speak to them. And that's really important homework. It's really important homework to know if you're going after, let's say, for an example, an affluent business owner versus, a single mom with a couple of kids versus someone that owes the IRS money versus someone that's in this part of town versus that part of town. Because if you can start to understand your client, then you're making progress in how to speak to them. That is a part of the journey you have to go through, is discerning and digging in to understand who your ideal client is. My session right now is not a workshop on who that is, but that's something that we can definitely speak to and help with. Obviously, a lot of you are saying my ideal client is someone that has an IRS tax issue somehow. Whatever service tranche you're in within the tax resolution space, it's probably going to have something included in that. But who gets into hot water with the IRS, and what's their background? What happens? And some of this is work that you can do just from your own experience with former clients. What were they like? What was causing them grief and pain and stress and anxiety? How did they get into this mess to begin with? To get the message right, you've got to figure out who your ideal client is and what makes them tick. You've got to do this homework before other things work. And the next question I would want to put before you is, again, under visibility, getting a little more tactical. How do you own your local online marketplace? You all probably, maybe some of you are state specific in terms of your licensing, but it seems like most people I talk with nowadays in tax resolution could serve anyone, anywhere, because it's obviously tied to the IRS. Especially if you got your EA and all those other accreditations and designations, you can usually work with anyone and everyone across this country, right? But Google doesn't care about that. You have to focus first when it comes to Google on your local marketplace. You can get leads from across the country, and we'll talk about how, but the first thing you must address is your local market, because that is the backyard Google's going to give you most quickly and easily. They're going to give you your backyard. And so let's not neglect it. Your backyard, your local area, your local geographic area has plenty of leads. Plenty of leads, right? Unless you're in the middle of nowhere. And in which case, we'll talk about how to get leads. But almost all of you are in a city or a town or a metro or a county that has people that have IRS problems, and we don't want to neglect them because Google treats you, Mr. and Mrs. Tax Resolution Specialist. They treat you just like they treat restaurants, accountants, lawyers, cleaning services, mechanics. When you do a search on Google and Google decides that the user has local intent, you get local results. So if we're in Dallas and I do a search for tax resolution specialists and I'm physically in Dallas, I am going to see Dallas-based results. It's just important to know that that's the game you're playing. Yes, 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 you can get leads from other markets. We'll talk about how, but you don't want to neglect your local online market, period. That has got to be something that you just embrace. That's a part of this deal. And if you want to see how you currently rank in your online market, just to get a baseline, you could go to taxproleads.com. I'll have a number of slides that highlight this because this will be a part of how we take action together, how we begin to work together to address your marketing needs. But one of the things I'd love to do is just help you see how you show up. Taxproleads.com. Please go there, grab a slot with us, and we can go over how you rank right now. Marketing is a relationship journey. It does involve clicks. It involves ads. It involves emails and follow-up, but it's all connected to a journey. And I want to help you digitally dominate your local market and have a digitally dominant ecosystem. But it also, your whole marketing kind of plan could be looked at through the lens of a relationship journey. And every relationship begins with just being found. So awareness is the beginning, right? But then there's an engagement and subscription. There's a conversion and action's been taken. They are on your calendar. They're a client. And then there's ascension. Step number 4, which is referrals, cross-sells, upsells, keeping clients for life. And obviously in the tax resolution space, hopefully you don't see clients again often, but inevitably I'm sure you do. But even getting referrals, that can be a part of ascension for a tax resolution business, getting their friends and people that need help also to trust and work with you. Your marketing can help with all this. Your marketing system can help you get found, start a conversation, get a commitment, and then get referrals from that customer. That's all a part of what digital marketing can do. It's more than clicks. It's more than just Google, but we're going to focus on awareness today. We're going to focus on how to get found on Google because that is the beginning of everything. If you're not found or visible, I think that you've got some gaps. I think you've got some stuff to work on. So the goal with the awareness stage is to identify your target prospects and get them to do something. Consume content, call your firm, schedule a call, do something. You want to get them to find you by first identifying who they are, right? Let's do that homework first. Who's your ideal lead? Let's get in front of them, and now let's get them to take a step. And that leads us into the engagement subscription phase. But the awareness phase is really important because a lot of you are just sitting there wondering, where are the leads? I put this website up. I put up these Facebook posts. I put up blogs. I run ads, whatever it is you've done, and it's not working. I want to tell you to start that the problem is not Google. The problem is not that there's a lack of people getting on Google to look for a tax resolution specialists. The data would tell us that there's only an increasing population of people with tax problems, right? And that's not going to change anytime soon. All of the economic kind of market factors right now, inflation, there's not a lot of government money flowing like there was during COVID, right, to bail people and businesses out. There's going to be more and more people, individuals and businesses that need help with their taxes getting resolved, some IRS problem. And they use Google to try and find someone to help. Certainly some others will search their internal network, maybe look on Facebook, maybe respond to a flyer, radio, right? There's lots of ways to get customers. I think you should consider all ways to get customers, but Google is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. Google is the behemoth for search. And so that is the main thing I'm going to talk about today from an awareness standpoint. is addressing Google from an organic, or you could say free traffic standpoint, and then paid traffic or advertising. We want traffic wherever it's coming from. We want to generate traffic. And I've already mentioned a few like, organic search, advertising like pay-per-click or Meta, which is now Facebook advertising. But you could also do social media ads, right? You could do social media organically or ads. So Instagram ads, TikTok, Meta, Facebook, all those things are available to you. But today we're going to primarily focus on what we call organic search and the local listings. And I'll also dip into ads just a little bit, but there will be another seminar, another day for ads as a deep dive. So today, our digital dominance method, it's all of these 7 areas: social media management, client prospect email nurture, lead qualification and follow-up, advertising. We're just going to touch these 2 areas: building organic SEO and dominating the local listings. Those 2 things are the 2 areas of awareness that I'm going to dig into today and try and help you crack the code on Google. That's really what we're after today. But Google's got problems, guys. I don't know how many of you know this, but Google is a pain in the butt to work with. They're annoying. You've got to play their game. Google doesn't actually know who the best tax resolution specialist is, but they're going to list someone on page 1, and how you get there is by playing their game. And their game at times is confusing. There's been some problems with Google just this year that are pretty substantial. Back in May, there was a giant leak of data from Google of what basically is their search algorithm and its various factors. 14,000 documents were released, 2,500 ranking factors. And let me just summarize it by saying that what you might have thought if you're in the SEO space, which stands for search engine optimization, right? Optimizing your website, your business, your online presence for the search engines. That's all SEO is. But as a professional in the SEO space, man, Google puts out a lot of content. Hey, here's how to work with us and get your clients found. Here's how to do SEO, and here's not. Would you guess that, of course, this document link was leaked in large part because they wanted to expose that Google's lying and that they look at a lot of factors that they say they don't, and they don't look at a lot of factors that they say they do. And that's not surprising for a large tech company, but it's been a big bombshell in the digital marketing space this year to try and get our hands around what just happened. Google's entire algorithm just got leaked. And there's a lot of stuff in there that's quite confusing. So that's one thing. I'll also tell you that your business profile on Google, it's called your Google Business Profile. Great name. It used to be called Google My Business. Oh boy, getting access to this profile is way more difficult than it used to be. It's annoying. It's worth its weight in gold. So we're going to talk about it today and we're going to get it solved. But I just want to tell you that getting access to your profile, getting your profile optimized, up to date, and live, or maybe some of you have suspended profiles and you don't know how to fix it. Google has moved away from humans doing their customer support in this area to an algorithm and an outsourced team in India that just doesn't really always help resolve the problem. Needless to say, the entire digital marketing space is quite annoyed and frustrated with Google Business Profile. It used to be a lot easier to get a profile live, and it is really hard now. And lastly, this is a recent thing, but this year there's been a number of cases coming down from the Department of Justice against Google. And the main assertion is that Google has a monopoly and that they use their kind of monopoly, their stranglehold on the search market to push out competition and make it impossible for other competitors to get established. And that goes for organic search and for advertising practices. There is a chance that Google goes through an antitrust, let's break up the beast type case where they have to change their model or separate out different business units. And that could be cataclysmic for how you do marketing. It hasn't happened yet, but that case is definitely moving. So we'll update on that as we go, but that's something we're really watching. So if you look at these 3 things, these are all really substantive changes on Google that make it more confusing and frustrating, and the future is uncertain. But I also want to tell you that absolutely the most amount of opportunities for you and your business to grow come from getting found and getting visible on Google, which is why we're still talking about this. If this ever changes, I will make a new presentation and I will tell you what changed. right now, you are still missing the biggest opportunity before you if you don't build your online marketing in such a way to rank on Google, period. So everyone that's having to get ranked on Google is playing with the same deck of cards. There's no one in your space or in your market that gets special rules. You all have to play by the search algorithm and what it's looking for. Most potential customers are indeed using Google to try and find you. And if you do play by these new rules, you will get found by hundreds, if not thousands, of good leads over the course of a year. It's absolutely true. There's not a lack of people that need help with their taxes. It's mostly that you just aren't visible to them right now. That's what we want to solve for, is getting visible, getting that awareness established. So where can you show up on Google? Because there's a few places. You can show up Google in a few different spots, and they are different. And I'm going to explain that to you before we get into the tactics of how to show up in these places. So you can show up in a Google ad at the top of a page. Google advertising has multiple iterations. There are multiple ways to advertise on Google. Probably most of you are most familiar with Google pay-per-click advertising. That's the most common way that you could run ads on Google. Pay-per-click, right? There's also the display network. We can talk about that in our advertising deep dive. And of course, there's other platforms you can advertise on. But just within Google, you've got pay-per-click, you've got the display network, and you've got something called local search ads. And again, a deep dive on those advertising platforms and strategies, we'll do that on another time. But beneath the ad section for like a pay-per-click ad, there's also a map. And that map shows 3 businesses. And beneath that map are links to websites. Here's what that looks like. You've got ads at the top, right? A map with 3 businesses, and then this area beneath it with websites. You know, maybe a top 10, maybe a website, maybe a blog article on the best local CPAs, accountants, tax resolution specialists, etc. What we're going to focus on today is ranking in these 2 places. I want to help you rank in the map, this blue section, and I want to help you rank in the green section, what we're calling the organic search results. So you've got the map and the search results, and how you rank in both places is different. So now we're getting tactical. We're getting into the real strategy of how to get found by your ideal client and what you need to do. So how do I get to the top of the search page on Google? How do I get people to see me? Let's talk about it. And forgive me, I'm not a graphic designer, but I did put this slide together just to illustrate. We're going to focus on this green section first, and then we'll go up the page to the blue section second. So how do I get ranked in the green section? What is Google looking for? Here's a list of factors that come from our friends at Moz Local, M-O-Z Local. It's just a great slide that I think helps illustrate the most important factors to Google's multi-billion-dollar search algorithm. That's what makes Google Google. Is they're really good at delivering results that we trust and that we actually use, right? That's why they're the most trusted search algorithm, is their algorithm is great. But what is their algorithm looking for to get my website ranking in that green section? The first factor that our friends at Moz are pointing out is something called on-page SEO elements. So let me nerd out for you just for a moment. On-page SEO elements is the back end of your website. Website optimization. So this is where we start to criticize and critique most websites that our industry has. Most websites in our industry are templates. They're cookie cutter. They have the exact same content, and there's not much of anything done on the back end in terms of optimization. The power of your website is partially on the front end, the content you see, and the call to actions and conversion mechanisms you put in place. More on that in a second. But it most certainly is also the back end. And so if you have a website right now that hasn't had any back end SEO, search engine optimization, that's a problem. Making sure that Google knows what you're trying to do. What is your content trying to rank for in terms of keywords? Who is your ideal lead? All of those things really, really, really matter and are available to you. But most of you have a website provider that's just not cutting the mustard. It starts with having a website on WordPress. Out of the top 100,000 websites on the internet, 50% of them are on WordPress. WordPress on its own is just a better platform out of the gate. But WordPress on its own, on the back end, gives you something that I would describe like the iPhone App Store or the Android store for apps. Whatever your smartphone of choice is, obviously the App Store on your smartphone, iPhone, or Android, gosh, that's going to make your phone really powerful that you can check email, track your time, do some banking, get on social media, right? Apps are what make smartphones amazing. Well, WordPress has their own app store, if you will. They're called plugins. And you can use various plugins to increase the speed of your site, to increase the clarity to Google of what your website's trying to rank for, to improve the efficiency and optimization. And a lot of it's tech in the weeds stuff that you don't need to know about, but I just want to name the back end of your website as your engine. And a lot of you have no idea if there's anything going on the back end of my website. And if there is, it's the same thing that 1,000 other people have because you have a website that's the same as 1,000 other people. Now let's go down this list. The second most important factor for whether you show up in this green section that I'm highlighting here is organic user behavior. How people engage on your site is the second most important factor. So let's talk more about that in a second. Not all websites are created equal, which I've kind of been riffing on already. Not all websites are created equal. The backend matters a lot, but the content matters a lot. The conversion matters a lot. But let's talk about content because that's a part of getting people to engage on your site. Do you have content that's worth reading? Or is your content just, I've been in business for 20 years, I've got these services, I'm located at this address? Are you back to the fundamentals of marketing? Are you addressing their pain? Do you know their problem? Are you helping to clarify to the lead when they're on your site that you're the best option? Because if you get more organic users to actually engage with your site, which is click around, stay on your site, visit multiple pages, if you get longer engagement, Google will reward you. But a part of that is the content. How are you speaking to your customers? And what's your conversion mechanism? All of those factors matter. So that's the front end part of your website is content and then conversion. But let's talk about how content matters not only to humans as prospects and users, but also Google's algorithm. So Google's trying to emulate human behavior as best they can. Google wants to replicate how humans make a buying decision. And so they're going to evaluate your content around expertise, authority, and trust. Google is going to, because they're very smart with all of their very complicated AI-based algorithmic signals and factors, they can actually evaluate whether your site's content truly carries expertise, authority, and trust. They're doing that. And let me just tell you one thing that's easy to understand. Duplicated, templatized, boilerplate content is not going to scratch this itch for Google, and it's also not going to produce users to engage more on your site. So again, we want users to engage more. We want Google to reward you with higher rank, and they're evaluating your content on EAT. And so what this boils down to is, have you ever mystery shopped your website as a guest shopper or had someone do it? Where do they get stuck? Do they clearly know what it is you do and how you can help? Are you solving people's pain? Are you an advisor that's trustworthy based on how you come across with videos and text content, with how your site's laid out? And I would also stress with how you get them to take the next step. Is there a clear next step on your site? All of these front end factors fall under the banner of what we call UXO, user experience optimization. You want your website to be optimized for users. You want to optimize for engagement. You want to have a plan for, you're on my site. I understand your pain. I know what you need help with. I've done this before. I'm trustworthy. And here's the next step that I want you to take. So that leads to engagement. And where I'm going to show you just an example of a site and how we optimize for engagement. This is a site that we've built that focuses on tax resolution. Are you facing tax issues, a lien, a levy, other tax related problem? We get it and we can help. And then we have 5 to 7 questions. Do you owe any IRS, federal, or state taxes? And so on and so forth. And then we'll ask them about their, if they own a business, what their contact info is. And now we get scheduled with a lead. I just want to camp out here for a second and try and articulate a few things to you. This part of your website the homepage, before I scroll, before I go visit any other part of your site, it is the single most important side of your, the single most important part of your website, period. It's called the above the fold section. This section should clearly get people interested, curious, and clear on what they need to do next if they're a qualified lead. And also, we should weed out leads that are not good. I don't want to waste your time. So that's where we have this kind of survey, this kind of pre-qualification. Let's figure out if they're actually a good fit for you. But if they are, let's make sure they know they're in the right place. Let's get them to take a step. And let's do all that in an elegant way that makes Google happy, makes the user engage, improves your rank so that you get found by more leads, and qualifies and gets those customers, again, kind of going down the relationship journey, awareness to engagement and subscription. This is where the baton gets passed, right here in this survey. We used to do lead magnets. We used to write a new lead magnet every year of 7 things to know about, resolving your tax debt. And we would update it and then, upload a new lead magnet, a new white paper to our clients' websites as a download. And that worked for a long time. But what we found now is that this survey is the best way to go forward. And it really serves both sides. It helps the lead know they're in the right place, that you actually know what you're talking about and you can help them. And when they fill it out, it helps you know what their problems are. How much money do they owe? Do they own a business or not? What's the biggest problem they need help with right now? And then their contact information, of course. And then let's get scheduled. Your website should do those things. Clear messaging, clear next step. Clear messaging, clear next step. That is something I want you to take away from this slide that, again, most people just miss. Most people's website, it has good information, but it's not elegant in how you clearly send your messaging to your leads. This is what I do. This is what I specialize in. This is what I'm good at. And here's the next step I want you to take. If your website doesn't do those 2 things, you're not only going to not rank as high, but the traffic you do get won't convert as much. So we want conversion. Here's another example for someone they do tax resolution, but they also do other things. Well, we've changed the messaging. We've changed the question. Those survey questions are different. So now we can figure out if they're personal income tax strategy focused or business tax strategy or both. And the questions can change client by client. But the point is, we're finding this model to be really successful. It really works. And then, of course, as I mentioned, with new content, adding blogs. That's how you add new content to your site. Each page on your site, your homepage, your about page, your contact page, your service pages, they should all target specific keywords. But you should also have blogs that talk about other topical issues. We have tax resolution blogs we put on our clients' sites, small business focused blogs, and of course, individual tax prep and tax planning focused blogs. So we write different blogs for our clients depending on what their specialty is, but those blogs are also targeting different keywords. So maybe it's some other element of some new forgiveness program or a case study or an example or some other thing that someone that has a tax resolution issue, related to your house, your business, some dynamic. We write on those topics for our clients so that we're feeding the Google machine with fresh content and people can see that are visiting your site that you know what you're talking about and you're good at it. Okay, everything I just covered was to rank in this green section. And now we're going to move up to this blue section. This blue section is where I want to camp out for the rest of our time, just to try and clarify, hey, here's how to rank in this specific area. Let's get into it. So here's another slide from our friends at Moz Local. And the slides are different. The factors are different. How you rank in this map section is categorically different than the green section I just went over, those organic search links. The first factor is your Google My Business, now called Google Business Profile, elements. What are those? It's the backend. It's just like the backend optimization on your website. Your Google Business Profile has a lot of levers you can pull. Pulling all of them in the right way is the first most important factor for ranking in this map section. And let me just say, this map section is at the top of the search page. You want to be here. You may want to advertise, which is at the very top of the page to be clear, but this is free. If you rank here with good reviews, you're going to get inquiries. You're going to get phone calls. You're going to get people that need your help. I guarantee it because people use Google. And until you get on page 1, especially in this map section, you're always going to wonder if marketing is just a crock. Does it actually work? Is there any substance to it? But the second you get here, a light bulb goes on and your phone starts blowing up and you get emails and website traffic goes up a lot because people use Google and they trust what Google shows them. And so we really want to fight to get in this map section. And so handling the back end of your Google business profile and getting those elements dialed in is just so massively important. I can't overstate it. The second most important factor, also can't overstate at all, is reviews. You can have a Google business profile that's properly optimized with no reviews and not get on page one. So you must tell yourself right now, quietly in your head, I'm not going to make you guys all repeat it out loud, but I must get reviews from my happy clients. And happy clients are not as likely to leave you a review as unhappy clients. You've probably experienced that, right? Maybe some of you have a negative review and you need some good ones. And why is it so hard for my happy clients to leave me positive feedback? I think that's a big part of human psychology. They're happy, they leave, the job is done. It is up to you to have a system and a plan to get that review from them. Whether you meet with them in person or if it's all online, a text and email campaign can suffice to get you that review, but you must have a plan for reviews. I must have a plan to get Google reviews. So we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But back-end optimization, let me camp out there and then we'll go to reviews next. If Google gives you something to do or fill in on the back end of your Google business profile, you should probably address it. Your services, your phone number, your open hours, the link to your website, of course, keywords and other things like the categories of service. Those are all areas I've just mentioned that you can right now address, and what you can optimize, as you'd expect with Google, is constantly changing because they're innovating. They're changing this profile and it morphs and changes all the time. And so I want to really encourage you that staying on top of Google business profiles, optimization policies, and tactics will serve you well because that's what keeps you at the top of page one. Some of you don't want to do this at all. And I just want to pause here and I'll tell you what the end looks like of this presentation. I'm here to do this for you. I will do this for you. We do this for all of our customers, but I come from this presenting standpoint, from a standpoint of teaching, from a lens of teaching. I want to just help you understand why it's important that we do what we do, because a lot of marketers blow smoke and they don't actually deliver value. There's a reason we do what we do and why it works. And this is why. Google is looking at these factors, and ranking on Google is incredibly powerful. So that's why we optimize the back end of a Google business profile. Of course, if you want to try and crack it yourself, you're welcome to. But if you want this done, our team would handle this for you 100%. Here's what a fully built out Google business profile can look like. You can see here these products, this product section. We've got our client services listed. You've got their categories. You can see tax problem resolution. That's showing up. You can see reviews from the web and reviews from Google. You can see over here, they've got hours listed, services listed up here. You can get directions to their business. These are all levers that we post and that we update on. Oh, and here's content. Yeah, here's a recent post that we had put up. Taxpayers should be aware of the recent increase in IRS-themed texting scams. That's content that we posted to their Google business profile. It's like a Facebook post, but it's on Google. And hardly anyone knows that you can post to Google business profile. And we do that for our clients, not because that individual post is going to make or break success, but everything about Google's algorithm is about sending positive signals to their system. If they give you something to do, it's a signal that they're measuring and monitoring whether you, zeros and ones, do it or not. Are you actually doing the stuff that they're putting in place to discern and decide who the best professional, firm, individual is in any given space, who the best local business is? So do everything you can. Post content to Google Business Profile. Get your description on Google Business Profile up to date. Get your categories dialed in. Get your services dialed in. Get reviews. Get reviews. All of this matters. But reviews probably matter in a way that you wouldn't expect. If you're looking in your local market right now, do a search for Dallas, Houston, Oklahoma City, Orlando, Atlanta, wherever you're from. Do a search for like Atlanta tax resolution specialist. See who shows up. If it's not you and there's someone with a lot of reviews, don't be afraid. you can actually overtake them quicker than you think from an organic free search standpoint. This is not paid. This is just being in that map section where people find you and not someone else. You can outrank someone who has more reviews than you if you get more reviews in a recent time period. So let me kind of flesh that out. Reviews to Google matters in terms of frequency, recency, star rating, and content. Not just your star rating and overall amount of reviews. Certainly that matters too. Your overall kind of cumulative reviews and your star rating certainly matters. But what people don't know is that Google's always asking the question of, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? So when was your last review? Was it a year ago? 2 years ago? Do you have no reviews? Was it maybe once, 6 months ago, but every other review was 5 years old? That's a problem. That's a problem. We can solve that problem, but I just want you to understand that's a problem. That's a problem that needs to be solved. And it is not going to be easy. Even though you've just transformed their life, you've resolved their tax debt, tax resolved, their taxes are now resolved because of your expertise and your work, you would think they'd be happy to sing your praises to the hills. And some people aren't. It's sensitive, maybe, to talk about, I love this tax resolution specialist. Hey, internet, I had a problem in this area. Some people just won't leave you that feedback because they're private. And that's okay. Lots of people will, but you have to ask. And the goal of getting reviews, like all things in marketing, is not that you'd have a 100% success rate. Although I would love that if you could. If you have a way to get 100% of your happy customers to leave a review, call me. I have a job for you. Like, let's talk. Most of the time, you're looking for 30, maybe 40% conversion rate. So out of 10 clients, 3 or 4 leave reviews. But if you do that consistently, you will have plenty of reviews in no time, and Google will give you page one position because of your recent and frequent reviews. That's the biggest thing with reviews I want you to come away with today. Have a plan to get reviews, but once you get some, it's about getting reviews consistently. Frequently and recently is a big part of what Google's algorithm is looking for. Make it easy for your clients to leave you feedback by having really smart, elegant texting, SMS, and email campaigns. I can also give you tech that makes it easy for your clients to leave your review when you're in person with them. If you become a client and want that, I'll gladly give you some technology that will make it super easy for them to leave your review when you're in person. But however you do it, you must have a plan. And I know you're busy, and that's where we come in. I have a plan for all of our customers to get reviews. I just need you to tell us who your happy customers are. That's all our customers need to do with our system. Just tap a button. This are my happy customers, and we'll take it from there. But let's do a little more data, and then I want to move on and show you some of how we get reviews for our customers, just to give you an idea. 48% of consumers, this is from Bright Local, another great SEO resource. 48% of consumers will consider using a business with fewer than 4 stars, which is to say that 52% of people need you to have 4 stars or more, and 12% won't use a business with fewer than 5 stars. I don't think 5 stars is your goal. I think you want to be at 4.5 or higher. And here's some data on that recency and frequency bit. If you have, let me say it this way, 86% of consumers pay attention to reviews, only pay attention to reviews written in the last 3 months. And it goes down to 50% of consumers only pay attention to reviews written in the past 2 weeks. Now, that's across all industries and all sectors. That's not just the tax resolution space. But what that does tell you is that people are paying attention to your recent work. And if your last review is from 3 years ago, that doesn't instill a lot of confidence in your lead. Your lead is questioning, is it the same people? Is it the same group? Maybe you've got a bad review and that was your most recent one, but you've got a good score overall. That's a problem. You want to have a flux, an influx of good, positive, 5-star, happy reviews with lots of content regularly. You will dominate. You will dominate if you do just that one thing. I know you need more reviews. I know you do. Just like I know you need more cowbell. So let's make a plan for that. And just to give you an idea, like if I'm shopping for someone to work with, I think this is up in Chicago. Chicago Tax Planner is the search I did. These are the 3 options I see. Who would you choose? This guy with 117 reviews and a 4.8 star rating? This guy with 18 reviews and 4.7, or this one with 26 and 4.6 review, or 4.6 rating with 26 reviews? I think it's obvious that most of us, if we're shopping for a tax planner, would pick the one with the most reviews, whether he was number 1, 2, or 3. The most reviews, that's going to help a lot with creating credibility. Now, it doesn't mean that he'll definitely get that lead. He still needs to have a good sales process, pitch himself well, articulate his value, and follow through. But just getting the opportunity to talk to someone comes from positioning yourself this way. This is a part of digital dominance. You want to look the part when people find you on Google. You want to look the part. So again, make it easy for clients to leave reviews. Here's what our review system looks like for our customers. You get texted a link or emailed a link and you click it, and I'm right here. I click 5 stars. I leave my experience. I post it. Bang, it's on Google. One click. All your customer needs to do is be logged into a Google account. If they don't have a Google account, they can't leave a Google review. That's one thing that does come up at times. So make sure they have a Google account, or if they don't, tell them to set one up for free. But as long as they have a Google account, which most people have a Gmail, or have a YouTube account, which obviously is owned by Google, you can leave a review on Google. Our system is called Client Stack. Client Stack does a number of things for us, but that's where we have our review system where you can see all of your invites, how many reviews you've received, what the average rating is, what the sentiment was. All of that is right here. And this is where you identify to us who your happy leads are, your happy customers, sorry. And then we'll take it from there and make it happen. And then here's again an interface where you can respond to reviews. This is another algorithmic signal, but responding to reviews also algorithmically matters. So respond to all your reviews as the business owner. That also does matter. I've already talked about this, but this is local. Don't use your Google business profile to target the whole United States, because Google will let you. Google will let you go over the lower 48, up around Alaska, and out over Hawaii, and have this big, polygon going around basically the United States. Don't do that, because this profile, again, is only designed for local. Use it for local. And if you want to get clients and leads from other markets, that's where advertising comes in. But can I prove it to you? Can I prove to you that this works? Here's some Google business profile reports that we give to our customers. This is from earlier in 2024. Here's January 1st to April 30th for one of our clients' Google business profiles. They got 44 reviews in this time frame. They have 175 reviews overall. They have a 4.91 average star rating, and they got viewed 6,000 times on Google, resulting in 850 phone calls, 439 direction requests, 551 website clicks just from their Google business page. This is just engagement and actions on their Google business profile. 550 website visits, 850 phone calls, and 439 direction requests because someone saw them on Google. They looked really credible because of their reviews, and they got the opportunity to close people. This happens for our customers all the time. Here's a little case study to go a little bit deeper into the data. We have a client this year, 2024, took their site live, got 5 reviews over the next, that's actually from 2023, I believe. In 2023, took their site live on September 30th. They got only 5 reviews over the next 60 days. And what happened? We saw a huge increase in keyword rank and Google actions with a new properly built site, an optimized Google business profile, and it's getting new reviews. Those 3 big things I've talked about. Optimize the back end of your site after you build it on WordPress with good content, get your Google business profile, get reviews. Guess what? You'll rank for more keywords and therefore see actions increase. So here's a 3-month view of how their rankings changed. Of the keywords we're tracking, 2 keywords we were tracking for them, they were in position number 1 on Google for on our baseline report. Fast forward 3 months, 16 keywords were in position 1, and so on and so forth. How many keywords that we're tracking were in positions number 2 to number 5? Only 9 when we started. We're up to 15 after 3 months. It's not rocket science. It's not your specialty. You guys are great at resolving taxes. I'm not, but I'm great at marketing. You should have someone on your team that has it as a part of their goal to increase your visibility to your target market, because you will then get actions. Again, here's those 5 new reviews with a 5-star rating. In this time period, they got 20 phone calls, 53 website visits, 8 direction requests. Their views were up a lot. Their direct search impressions were up a lot. All of that is massively positive. We want to see actions increase. This 66% increase of phone calls, that's what we're after. We are after increasing the engagement and conversion. A topic for another day I've hinted at a number of times is paid advertising on Google. So if you want to do ads, I think you should consider it, especially in the tax resolution space. They work really well, and this is the fastest way to get leads. Everything I've talked about up to this point is free, organic search results on Google, but it's not overnight. You can get there, but it's having a proper website, putting good content up, getting reviews. It's doing the stuff I've talked about consistently. I can put an ad campaign up for you tomorrow and get you clicks. Reviews still help an ad campaign perform, right? You want to have good reviews when you're running ads so that people can look you up and see something that's authoritative and credible. But I can get you visible on Google pay-per-click ads very quickly. And here are the steps for building a great pay-per-click campaign that we'll go over in another session. Here's some results. I think I've got one for tax resolution. Yeah, here's tax resolution from, again, January 1st to April 30th. They spent $4,000 on their ads in that time period. So January 1st to April 30th, they got 46 leads off of 7,000 impressions, 345 clicks, turned into 46 leads. And a lead for us is someone that's filled out a form or called your office. Both of those are like bottom of advertising funnel conversions. You can see here their organic data as well, which is also really compelling. In that same time period, they had 277 phone calls, 225 direction requests. They got 6 new reviews with an average star rating of 5, and they had 28 total reviews. They don't have hundreds, but they've got 28 good reviews. And they're getting phone calls, and their ads and their organic kind of ranking and reviews, it works together. All of this works together. So ads work really well when you have a great website with a credible, dominant ecosystem on other parts of Google, which is to say your reviews in an optimized profile. Your ads can sing. How many of you would, what amounts to, I believe that's like $100 a lead. Yeah, math is, I'm not an accountant, but 46 leads, $4,060 in spend, that's $100 a lead. How many of you would be happy with getting $100 as a cost per lead? I think you'd take that deal. Are you closing 100% of those leads? Probably not. What if you close 30% of them? How much would 30%, let's say 12 to 15 leads, if you close 12 to 15 leads over that time period, how much revenue would that be with your current pricing? I think it'd be pretty good. Marketing is a numbers game. Marketing is relational. These are the things we do to deliver value for our customers. Oh, there it is. $88 per lead. That's the actual math. So just under $100. $88 per lead. 6 new clients per month is what we were able to generate. So I'm going to wrap up, guys, and go to the close. And I've got 3 offers for you. Option 1, if you just want our book, I would be there to give it to you in person if I was there, but I can get it to you still. Send me an email, send me a note, support@taxpromarketer.com. Tell me you want our book, and we'll send one over to you. We'll just need to get your information, your address, where you want it sent. We'll work through that, but we'll get you our book if you want it. This is for those of you that just aren't quite ready to take a step, but you want to keep learning. Be glad to send you our book. It's an authoritative resource on digital marketing. But for those of you that want to take a step further, I've got a comprehensive audit for you. This is complimentary and comprehensive to go over everything in your digital marketing. I've got 10 openings available for this event. We're obviously in our busy season. We're building a lot of things. And so we just don't take everyone that comes through. But if you would like to take a step towards this, just go to taxproleads.com, taxproleads.com. You can see it in this lower corner and grab a spot. 10 are open, and we'd be glad to work with you and give you a comprehensive overview of your digital marketing ecosystem, your website, how you rank, opportunities. For those of you that are interested in signing up, we've got 10 spots available for the complimentary service, but we also have 10 spots available for us to do the thing for you. So if you've looked at all of this data, all of this presentation, and you want our help, I would be glad to do it. I would be glad to make this happen for you and bring all that I've talked about today and more. Weekly emails, social media, a sales pipeline and software, calendaring systems, all of the things from the top of the funnel to the bottom of your marketing to give you a digitally dominant ecosystem. But you have until November 22nd to lock in a huge discount. So 10 people from this event, we can take 10 people. You get 20% plus off of your monthly services and no setup fee. We can go into all the details and give you a complete custom plan, show you examples on a call, but it starts with getting booked with us. taxproleads.com. And those that get booked with us, we've got 10 spots available. I really hope that this session has been informative to you guys. I know that there's a lot of content being thrown at you by Dan and the other presenters in this forum. And so I appreciate your time. I hope to see you guys in person at the next event. My children will be a little bit older and I would love to meet you in person, but I'm also happy to do a meet video with you, a Zoom video with you to go over your stuff by yourself. You can email me directly at christian@taxpromarketer.com and I am here to help. So please, taxproleads.com, grab a spot with us. We can go over your existing presence. You can secure that offer, but you've got to lock it in before November 22nd. Let me know if you have any questions, guys. Dan, thank you again for the opportunity to speak to your group. And if anything comes up, I'm here to help. And with that, I will end my time, turn it back over to Dan, and let you guys get on with the next session. And again, I look forward to seeing you all soon. Thanks again.